The translator begins this chapter with a note letting us know that he's abridged the next few chapters. The next few chapters are also full of highly poetic and artistic descriptions of natural phenomena, the flora and the fauna, with interesting spiritual parallels, from which the following two are but samples. We've got a couple of little parables here, which can be quite useful, and they're spiritual in the usual sense of the word, not in the sense of inquiry or self-inquiry, but I think they have their benefit. This is part of the journey of the king. The king, after achieving worldly success, loses that success, it all comes tumbling down, and then transforms himself into what's almost like a demonic being, or four demonic beings, and conquers the whole world in all four directions. But now he's turning inwards to contemplation of water, the oceans, and to space. And now, rather than looking at the natural world as something to be protected or conquered, he's getting little insights, looking at things a little deeper, looking at things symbolically. The ministers and others continued, "O Lord, behold the crane, how diligent and efficient it is in capturing and consuming the fish. Wicked people see in the natural behaviour of the crane the justification for their own vicious doctrine, and even so one should destroy others for the attainment of one's own selfish ends." It's quite possible this is referring specifically to vegetarianism. One of the arguments many meat eaters give for eating meat is, it's natural. It's natural. But of course it's not natural at all. They're not eating meat because they need to eat meat. They're not eating meat because it's necessary for their survival. They're sanctioning the killing of other sentient beings simply because they want to indulge themselves in the taste of that flesh, and they're not willing to change that habit. So meat eating, by and large, is simply a sheer self-indulgence, one which is blind to the massive slaughter and suffering which goes on a daily basis because of it. Look at the peacock. It quenches its thirst from the purest rainwater. It does not drink of the polluted waters of the drains and the canals. However, it continuously remembers the clouds and the rain that falls from them and derives satisfaction. When one's heart is fixed in devotion to the holy ones, even unpleasant experiences become pleasant. So this could relate to our attitude towards life. If we're hungry, do we want to grab a burger? Or are we going to take the time to make a nice meal with the best ingredients we can afford? Are our actions based on lack of regard to ourselves, lack of regard to the environment, or are they based on appreciation of oneself, appreciation of the environment, of where things come from? Do we have a heart fixed in devotion, or do we have a heart fixed in self-loathing and resentment? To have a heart fixed in devotion, there needs to be an object of devotion, and this object can be anything. In the next paragraph, it's a lover. O King, behold that young couple talking to each other and refreshing themselves over there. The young man, smitten with love for his beloved, met her just now after a very long separation. This is what he said to her. Behold, listen to what happened to me one day during our separation. I looked at the cloud and prayed to the cloud to convey a message to you. This is clearly when separation meant separation. There were no emails or texts or even letters. I was so greatly overcome by longing for you that I fainted. My breathing stopped, my memory failed, my body became cold and rigid like a log of wood. Who can ever describe adequately the unhappiness caused by separation from a beloved one? Travellers who witnessed this thought I was dead and made preparations for the cremation of the destitute body. I was taken to the crematorium. They laid me on the pyre and set it alight. In a few moments I experienced all kinds of strange feelings and sensations and visions. I felt that I was falling into a hole in the ground. I was protected by the armour of your love and of contemplation of your form. I enjoyed your company in my own heart. I remember even now the smallest detail of the amorous dalliance in which we self-forgetfully enjoyed each other. In the meantime I saw flames around me. Hearing this, the girl swooned, but the lover revived her and continued the narrative. At once I shouted, "Fire, fire," and woke from the swoon. The people around the funeral pyre thought that I had returned from the dead, and they were thrilled. They sang and danced. We all returned home. So if you've got this inner disposition, if you've got something you can relate to, or someone you can relate to with this kind of devotion, well, it transforms your experience of the world. It could be your loved one, it could be Jesus, it could be the prophet or Krishna, it could be your guardian angel, a saint, a guru. It should be internalized though. It should be something which is purely internal, something which helps establish you on an even keel, not something that needs to be scientifically proved. It's what's sometimes referred to as your happy place.